The reason why your mother does not love you is because she doesn't love herself. The reason why your mama is such a male centered pick me, and if you don't know what the term male centered pick me is, it means she puts men before her children. She puts a man on a pedestal. She has to cleave and cling to a man to validate herself, to validate that she's more powerful than a single woman, to exert dominance over women in general. She feels that having a married title, even if it's an abusive, toxic man, she feels that she's superior to single women. She idolizes men, and she will put a man before the needs of her own child. That is a male centered woman. And most of us have mothers that are like this. And I'm going to explain why. And I hope it helps to heal your heart, because I have a vicious mother, and she has had a cycle of being married to abusive men. And she refuses to leave the side of her abusive husband, whom she's married to right now. The same man that touched my body as a child. He molested me repeatedly. And she knew about it, and she still chose to stay by that man's side. They're still married today, okay? How can I sit here with a straight face, unemotional, and very relaxed and calm and talk about this? It's because I've healed from it, and I understand why my mama did what she did, but I don't fuck with her. I cut her off. So I want you to listen to this video very carefully. It's a lot of y'all that think that, your mother hates you, and she might love your sister or brother more than you. But I want you to understand she doesn't love anyone. She knows how to copy and pretend and show empathy. It's all a performance. It's an act. That's because your mama is a narcissist. Narcissists are excellent actors. They know how to study people. They can study a child crying, and then they learn to cry like a child without having any empathy in their hearts. So you can't take everything they do personal, even though they intend to hurt you. They're very sadistic. They enjoy torturing and hurting people. But understand, they're empty inside. They love no one. They don't even love themselves. I'm going to talk about your mama so you have a better understanding of why she is the way she is. She does not love herself, honey. And the reason why she's so male-centered, she chases male validation. She's obsessed with abusive men. She will turn the other way while her man, her boyfriend, her husband molests her daughter. She will turn the other way when she's dating a dude that owes child support. She knows he's a deadbeat father to his other baby mama. She don't care as long as he's treating her good and he's doing for her children. She's a pick-me. She will look the other way when a man beats on or grapes another woman. She supports white supremacy. No matter what her race is, she needs to be in close proximity to the white man, our real oppressors. She's a pick-me, okay? And women, the reason why women are pick-me's, you have to, when it comes to your mama, you have to really dig deep and study her childhood upbringing. The answers are all there. Take, for instance, my mother. My mother was created from a fling. Okay, she's the product of, I don't know if it's a one night stand, a fling, but my grandmother, my grandmother was very promiscuous and for the streets, and she hooked up with a married man who had a family, got knocked up and pregnant. And when my mother was born, my mother had a twin sister. When they were born, they pretty much was a dirty little secret amongst the family. And I guess my grandmother sent my mother to go live with her grandmother, because my grandmother was wild and in the streets. She's got multiple baby daddies. She has multiple sets of children. My grandmother was for the streets, okay? And I don't give a fuck who gets mad in my family. I don't care. True, I'm gonna tell the truth, bitch. She was for the streets. And when she gave birth to my mother and her twin sister, they were passed off to be raised by their grandmother. They were the family's dirty little secret. My grandmother was ashamed because she hooked up with a married man. And guess what my grandmother did after that? She ran off and married another man and had more children, leaving my mother behind. So this makes my grandmother a narcissist. And this is part of my mother's trauma and pain. Okay. But her father also abandoned ship. He went back to his wife and kids. He too is a narcissist. And he was absent out of my mother's life. So my mother had a void, an absence of a male father figure in her life. Not just her mother, but her father. But her father's absence impacted her more. Now that my mother is an adult, her need for a father figure, and the fact that she was also pressured to marry my father, who is also a narcissist. My father is abusive and misogynistic, but my mother was pressured into marrying him and having a baby. Me, I'm the firstborn, being pressured, and she got tied down to an abusive man, trapped in a toxic marriage, chasing male validation, trying to please everybody, trying to have a family because it was the trend at the time. And my daddy was light-skinned and good-looking, and she wanted good-looking children. Never took time out to vet the man properly to see if he was ready and mature enough to be a man, to be a father, and he wasn't. Didn't want to work, lazy, all of that. She was pressured, chasing that father figure, chasing male validation. Once she divorced my daddy, she immediately rebounded into another relationship and married another man, another abuser. She married him for his money. She did not vet him properly. She went in knowing he was the town tramp. He slept around with multiple women. He had drug money, slept with one of her girlfriends. Didn't realize that she was marrying a serial cheater and a predator, or she didn't care. And this man is the same man that touched me repeatedly when I was a young girl, a young teenage girl. He took advantage of me and preyed on me while my mother was gone, touched my body multiple times in my sleep. And my mother today is still married to him, chasing male validation. My mother needs her daddy and never had her daddy. So she substituted these abusive men, my biological father and her second husband, to replace her father that she never had. Ladies, I want you to understand your mama's trauma runs deep, and it is her responsibility to go to therapy and to work on those deep-rooted childhood issues, or it will affect her daughter. And she will not, she will abuse you and bully you and project her issues, her pain and trauma onto her daughter. And that's why we have so many cases where women are cutting off their abusive mothers. If your mom is a narcissist, she does not have the ability to self-reflect or self-correct. She doesn't want to go in deep. It's too painful for her. So your best bet is to cut her off. And if you have a daughter, you change and you treat your daughter better. You learn from the mistakes of your mama and don't transfer that trauma onto your children. You do right by your daughter. And don't ever put a nigga over your daughter. Don't ever kick your daughter out in the streets for a man and let him stay in the house. Don't let a man get away with molesting your daughter. Put him in jail. Okay? So understand, don't take it personal. If it feels like your mama don't love you, she really don't love herself. She doesn't have any love to give because she's empty inside. She's a narcissist.